Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Hoping everybody is staying healthy and safe. This is it's Saturday. I see that they are doing a lot of looting and everything and burning in Minneapolis where George Floyd got killed. They're doing a lot of looting and burning down buildings and, protesting. And I think they're doing it in LA. They're doing it in some other cities too. Some of the other cities they're having peaceful protests. But in Minneapolis, they've been burning buildings down, looting. People have been looting. And I'm sure there's people out there that are trying to do it peacefully. The cops are just, trying to use tear gas on everybody, regardless. But what I want to say is, if you guys check out if you didn't get the opportunity, check out my last video where I was talking about George Floyd, Floyd getting murdered by the police officer. You haven't had the opportunity to check that out. Check that last video I did on, and it was terrible. It's really horrible to watch. It's really sad to watch. This man literally snuffed the life out of this black man by having his leg on his neck. And they said that he had his leg on his neck for 8 minutes and 49 seconds or 53 seconds. So almost 9 minutes he had his leg on this man's neck. And this man was saying, "Please, I can't breathe. I'm in pain." He was calling for his mama. And the officer wouldn't let up. And the other officer just stood there and let it happen. Now, they came on the news yesterday and said that the officer that actually killed him, George Floyd, he is going to be charged. They fired him, but he's going to be charged. Okay, well, they need to charge the other officers, too, that were involved. Now, what I had an issue with is that he going to have the nerve to cop an attitude. I didn't like his demeanor, and I didn't like his attitude when he was when he was given the police chief was given the interview. He seemed like he had an attitude. And my thought was, it's really interesting, and I actually put this on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page. I said, it's really interesting how they're so interested in making sure that these officers have due process. But poor George Floyd didn't get that opportunity. He didn't get the opportunity to have due process. This black man, civil rights was violated. And he didn't get the opportunity to have due process. But they're so interested in these officers getting due process. And my thought is, well, we're acting pretty fast of arresting the officer that committed the actual murder. We're really, he was acting like he was so proud of the fact that it was a fast process. Well, my thought was, don't bust your arm patting yourself on the back, because it should have been done in the first place. First of all, get that said right off the bat. It should have been done in the first place. The man should have been, every officer on the scene that was involved needs to be arrested, and it should have been done immediately. And I didn't like his demeanor. He had an attitude, and he got his nerve. You know what I mean? So I will get that said right off the bat. Justice should have been done. He should have been arrested in the first place, because that was just outright murder. And they say, well, he was passing fake bills. First of all, he might have not have known he had a fake bill. Who says that that's alleged? Allegedly had a fake bill. He might have not even have known he had a fake bill. This is like if I go to the bank, I cash my check or whatever, I go to the bank and they give me money, or I go to the store and I get change for a bill, a $50 bill, and the store gives it to me and I go spend it at another store and they find out that it's fake, well, I didn't know it was fake. Okay? If I get fake money, I don't know it's fake. So that happens all the time. It happens all the time. Fake money, people spend fake money and it circulates. He might have not had even known that it was even fake. Now I'm going to say allegedly. And even if he knew, even if he knowingly gave them fake money, did he deserve to die? Even if he knowingly did it, did he deserve to die? He deserved to die. You wouldn't do a dog. They hold cats and dogs and other animals in this country in such high regard. They would not do an animal like that. They wouldn't do a dog like that. They wouldn't do a cat like that. Or any other animal would not do like that. But you do a human being that way. And they said that this man was a gentle giant. They say he was a gentle giant. Everybody that knew him said that he was a gentle giant. He was a nice guy. Now they're trying to criminalize him. I'm not going to even repeat what they said that he said that talked about some of the things that went on in his past. Not going to even discuss that because every time something like this happens to a black man, they want to criminalize them and try to bring up everything that they did or whatever. Really? So I will get that said right off the bat. I'm just as outraged as everybody else. It's not okay. We're over this happening. Black people are over this happening in the United States. This is over. And it's a lot of white people, believe it or not, that's outraged as well. I'm reading some of the blogs and a lot of white people are outraged about this too. And I'm glad to see that. And white people should be outraged. They should be. Because think about it. Think about it. If you are a white person and you're trying to love everybody, you're trying not to be racist, you're trying to raise your children to love everybody, and then you got these jerks doing something like this, it brings reproach on the whole white race. It really does. It brings reproach on the whole white race. And it makes them look bad. Because you got black people out here that think all white people are racist. I've had to tell black people, no, not all white people are like that. So it really brings reproach on the whole white race. It really does, in a sense. You know? Because you got a lot of white people out here that's not like that. They try to be good people. So I think everybody should be outraged to this. I call it a cancer. Racism is a cancer. It's a horrible cancer that's been going on for decades, hundreds, over 400 years. A black reporter said on the news the other day, and I'm glad he said it. He said, this has been going on for 400 years. I said, say that. This is ridiculous. We keep revisiting this over and over with cops killing black people. And it's happening to black women too. Let's not ignore the fact that it's happening to black women. With Breonna Taylor and the cops raided her house and killed her. But we don't see, the problem is when it happens to black women, stay tuned, I'm going to address that. When it happens to black women, why is it that the black women don't get the same outrage? The black women, when things like this, because it happens to black women too. Sandra Bland got murdered by the cops. She didn't commit suicide. Other black women have gotten murdered by the police and beat up by the police. They just showed a video. I just watched a video of an officer arresting a black woman, and they happened to be by a puddle. He was dragging her face in the water and wouldn't let her up. And they was telling them, he said, "You're gonna drown." The people were like, "You're gonna drown her. Get her out of the water." And he finally got her out of the water and put her in a police car. But he was literally drowning the black lady. Where was the outrage? See, when this happens to black women, there is no outrage. It's not the same amount of outrage that it is when it happens to a black man. That's the problem. Black women, we have to deal with not only racism, we have to deal with sexism as well. I'm like, well, people don't care about black women? We're the life givers. Without black women, then we would die out. I mean, without black women giving birth to black children, well, white women can give birth to black children too. But still, we're the life givers. How can you not care about black women? Well, we don't care about black people, but it's like nobody cares about what happens to black women, literally. It's not the same outrage. It's really sad. It really makes me sad. But stay tuned. I'm gonna do a whole nother video talking about that. With that being said, I'm gonna get that said and get that off the, established right there. However, with all the rioting and the looting going on down in Minnesota, the first thing I got to say, what I don't understand is, when these things happen, back when Rodney King got beat up by the police down in LA, everybody, if you're old enough, if you're over 30, you remember that. And they acquitted, I think they acquitted those cops or whatever the situation was. And they went crazy in LA. I mean, they went crazy. And poor Reginald Denny got pulled out of his truck and got beat up. He had nothing to do with it. I remember when that happened, they just went crazy. It's the same thing. They rioted, looted, destroyed their own community. That's my question. Why is it when stuff like this happens, why do black people want to destroy their own community? Why do black people want to burn their stores in their community, burn their stores down in their communities? They destroy their own resources. I get it. I get it that black people are mad, that black people are hurting. I'm hurting. I'm upset. I'm outraged. I'm just as outraged. I'm just as upset. And I'm hurting just like everybody else. I know black people are tired. I get it. I'm tired. I know we're tired of seeing this over and over. And cops keep doing this to our black men and women over and over. I get it. I know black people are tired. I'm tired. Okay? But I'm not going around the neighborhood right now and burning down stores, burning down the stores, the restaurants or whatever. And I got quite a few things going on here close to my house and my community. Quite a few businesses. I'm getting ready to go into the Dollar General. I'm right in front of the Dollar General right now. I'm getting ready to go to the store. Am I here burning it down? Am I going to burn it down because I'm upset about George Floyd being murdered by the police? Am I going to burn my Dollar General down? Am I going to go burn my Save-A-Lot down that's around the corner? Or am I going to burn my gas station down? My job is across the street. Am I going to burn my job down? No, I need to work. See? I'm not going to burn. Am I going to burn my Walgreens down around the corner that I need to go in and get my essentials and things? No. Because if I do that, that means I'm going to have to drive further to go get these things, as opposed to just going around the corner. So this is what I don't understand. Why is it that black people destroy their own resources in their community? It's not going to bring them back. And it's not the answer. I get it that black people are hurting and outraged. I get it. I'm outraged. But I'm not going to destroy the businesses in my own community. That is not the answer, black people. It's not the answer. And God does not approve. Jehovah God does not approve. If you're going to protest now, as witnesses, Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't rally, we don't protest, we try to be neutral in things. We just don't do that. But we don't do it as Jehovah's Witnesses. But if you're going to protest, why not let it be a peaceful protest? You know, back when Martin Luther King was alive, during the civil rights era, when black people couldn't even sit at the lunch counter and get something to eat, or they couldn't go into different businesses, and they couldn't sit in the front of the bus or sit anywhere they wanted on the bus. What did Martin Luther King do? What did he preach? They had peaceful protests. They were still met with violence by the police, but they had peaceful protests. They didn't burn things down. They didn't loot. See, that's what Martin Luther King stood for, was peace. And if you're going to protest, why not let it be a peaceful protest? And I get it. And people saying, well, we tried that already and they're not listening. I get that. I get it. But this is not the answer. The Bible says you should reap what you sow. Jehovah God says, let vengeance be mine. In other words, let me enact my justice. When you say let vengeance be mine, meaning don't you go out there and take matters into your own hands. Let me worry about the justice for these people. Let me worry about, I know what they did. God says, let me deal with it. This when he says, that's what he means. Let vengeance be mine. Okay, well, let me do my job and make sure they get their just due. Don't you do it. Don't you take matters into your own hands, because the Bible says you reap what you sow. So when you go out there and you do bad things for whatever reason, okay, well, it's going to come back on you. So people are not realizing that. God does not approve, and it's not the answer. It is not the answer. Burning things down, burning down your own businesses in your community, destroying your own resources, is not the answer. Because when they wake up and they need to go to the store, now they're going to have to drive in another section of the city to go to the store now, because they didn't burn the store down. It doesn't make any sense. Now, you got people out there that's looting. I honestly think that those people are not interested in justice. They just want to use the riots as an excuse to steal. You got people out there that want to use the riots as an excuse to steal. They're using it as an excuse to steal. And so, unfortunately, you got those that take advantage of the situation. And there are looters or protesters down there. They're actually protesting peacefully. They're trying to protest peacefully. So I'm not nowhere near suggesting that everybody is out there burning stuff. The people that are burning buildings down and stuff, it is not okay. God doesn't approve. It's not the answer. And it's not going to bring him back. You know, I just don't understand why black people have to destroy their own resources. Why do you have to burn down your own things in your community to prove a point? It's not the answer. And God doesn't approve at the end of the day. He does not approve. That's all I want to say. Black people, there's a different way. There's a different way to make sure that justice is served. You don't have to do this. You don't have to burn down your own resources in your own community. Now they're going to have to go to other sections or areas of the city to go to the store or whatever it is, because they didn't burn down their own stuff. They burned down the Target. They stole and took stuff out of the Target. Okay, well, what did Target have to do with what happened to George Floyd? That racist police officer. What did he have to do? What did they have to do with it? They didn't have anything to do with it. And they're probably mad at the system, and I get that. I'm mad at the system. I'm just as outraged. But I'm getting ready to go into this Dollar General right now and get my stuff. And guess what? I'm not going to burn it down because I need it. You know what I mean? You feel me? So, black people, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop destroying our own resources. It's not going to solve anything. I'm just as outraged and angry about this as everybody else. But what we have to do is we have to pray. And justice, the first step is they did arrest the other officer. I'm mad because it should have been done in the first place. Okay, well, what's the hold up of arresting the other officers? Like I said, they're so interested in due process for these officers. But poor George Floyd didn't get that opportunity. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Let me get on in here. Hit me up in the comments section. Let me know what your thoughts are on this rioting situation and everything. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so every time I do a video, you will be notified. Need you guys to hit that. Thank you, new subscribers that just subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Love you. And I want you to do me a favor, guys. Do me a favor and wash your hands for 20 seconds and making sure you're wearing your mask, and stay safe and healthy. God bless. Peace and love. This is Sweet Jim.